Hannah from Fast Forward TV, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about Rainer Werner Fassbinder and Michael Haneke. And I had the idea about doing this little video because I saw that Mubi UK is currently doing a series on Haneke films, and they also have a poster for the series which is called Empowering the Spectator, which is an actual quote from Haneke himself. And this is also exactly what Rainer Werner Fassbinder does. So what does this actually mean to empower the spectator? So generally the way that traditional American blockbuster cinema works is that they always create a hero figure. So there's always a hero on screen you can then identify with, and you latch yourself onto this hero, and the minute you are attached, you develop emotions. So then this hero figure then just sort of grabs you and drags you through the movie, and you go together through all the emotional ups and downs right until the happy end. And as a result, you leave the cinema just as enlightened as you were before. You haven't actually learned anything, but you were entertained because these emotions entertained you. Like whether you felt scared or you were crying or laughing or whatever, these emotions then entertain you. And it's actually quite a dangerous thing to do because how often have you actually left the cinema and you saw a movie that made you really sad and you were crying and you left thinking, oh, it was a great movie because it evoked such strong emotions from you that you were crying. Okay, you were crying, but it doesn't necessarily mean it was a great movie. It can still be pretty bad, but you were sort of manipulated into feeling these strong emotions to a point where you started crying. So this is why people often think it was great when really, objectively speaking, it doesn't have to be. Haneke and Fassbinder have a completely different approach to making films. So they expect actually a lot more from you, the spectator. They don't want you to just be blindly entertained and leave the cinema just as smart as before and just entertained. They actually want you to leave enlightened, and they want you to take something away from the movie and that you've actually learned something from it. And the way both directors do that is they deliberately don't create this hero figure you can then identify with. So there are no emotions. There is no hero on screen you can attach yourself to. And as a result, there's a clear barrier between you, the viewer, and the screen. So what you then end up doing is you're just observing what is being played out on screen. And in turn, then as a result, because you have no emotions, you are then forced to think about what's actually happening. And this is then where you, the spectator, come in. And empowering the spectator now means that you have to create that movie for yourself. And the way you do that is because the minute you're observing, you then sort of apply your own life experience into what's being played out on screen. Because you will have to interpret the actions your own way. Because you don't feel emotions that then do this for you. You have to think. So you have to really think about what is the people's motivations, what are the actors' motivations, what is it that drives them, what is the logic behind their actions, why is this happening? And so you create your own movie, and everybody's going to see a different movie because everybody has a different set of experience, and you will interpret in a different way what's being played out on screen because there are no emotions involved that will do the interpretation for you. And the way that, for example, Fassbinder achieves that is that, for example, Fassbinder has a very strong background in theater. And theater, as you know, is a live event. So the actors on stage need to make sure that the viewer right at the back needs to be able to hear them. So they need to really pronounce and articulate each word perfectly. And this is the one thing that I've also noticed in a Fassbinder film, is that it's the absolute most perfectly pronounced and articulated German that I've ever heard in my life. It is absolutely perfect and flawless. And if you want such a clear pronunciation, you need to speak slowly. And then this in turn makes the actor seem slightly more robotic. And also if you speak in such a theatrical way, you cannot put that much emotions into it. So this is, for example, one way to achieve that barrier. But obviously the first step is in writing the script. And then obviously the way that the director is going to direct you as an actor. So the minute where there's no identification possible, you are then forced to think and apply your own life experiences into the story, into the movie, and create your own story. And this is why it's called Empowering the Spectator. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you've seen any Fassbinder films, any Haneke films, then let me know any thoughts, and thanks for watching. Bye!